Welcome to Long Bangers in association with Leeds Spirits. I'm May.
Hello, good evening. I am Colin.
Colin, how are you doing this evening?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'm trying my hardest to be positive and support the team. But fuck me, the results aren't helping, are they?
It's frustrating, eh?
And I've just swore already. I promised somebody on YouTube during the week that I would watch my language. And I've already done it.
You can't. Do you know what? I think there should be an amnesty on any Hibs fan for swearing. Like, is it like if you're pulled up at your work, even if you're like a kind of if you're a priest or something, you go for fuck's sake. Should be that a total amnesty. Somebody should say, "You Hibs fan?" You go, "Aye," and they go, "Understand, fair enough." Like, you've had a hard time. Back to the bottom of the league, Colin, after a wee bit of respite last weekend. Um, sort of feels like we've been done over a bit by VAR today, right? And I'm going to try and be objective and not just blame it on a decision. Kind of how like you get, it shouldn't matter what VAR does. You should have done enough to win the game. It was one of those ones, but fuck me, VAR also played a big part. We'll come in the talking points, right? There's sort of the tale of two penalties, one given and one not.
Mhm.
But let's start off with the starting lineup. I'll pop that up on the screen. Colin, I think this is actually quite close to the one that you predicted.
It's two wrong. Two of the formation was correct, but two
Hmm.
the individuals. So Kukrevich, but I think I did caveat saying that if Giles not fit, it would obviously be him.
Yeah,
But it was Boyle, Heading, Yuan. Otherwise, that was my starting lineup.
and we had Traquan Joe as a
Mm-hmm.
midfield
Is
three.
that what we're going with?
Aye,
Aye, lovely.
Traquan Joe.
What was I got mixed up with? I got two of the names mixed up the other week, and I says if once we start winning games and we're all good in a good mood, we can start doing that, like doing
Aye.
the blended name thing. I didn't know, so I was happy with the starting lineup. If that's your question,
Uh-huh.
preempt your question. Other than I would have had you and over Boyle, but um, the bench does look weak, and it's kind of showing up now. Like we're having Gale out, we're having Boy out, having who else are we missing? Is that all we're missing?
Chris Carden
Oh,
missing
Chris
as
Carden,
well.
of course. Yeah, it's really starting to look a wee bit light, and it's only three players.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It looked like the team I picked, the formation I picked. I was quite happy with it, and then we actually performed reasonably well. It's fucking results though, and that's what matters, though, isn't it? It's not. I mean, I seen folk. I posted on it on Hibs.net. Somebody said that we need some performances out of this team. I was like, no, it's results we need because I think we've had performances out
Yeah,
the team. We're just not getting the fucking results to back up.
I think that's fair. I actually thought the day we were right. I was going to say we were good. I think we were good. We didn't create enough. I think we had quite a lot of shots. So we don't actually had to look for the match stats. I'll just have a
Get a
look
beer for I'll do that. Carry on
uh,
talking.
on Sofa Score is quite a good one for the stats. Um, I thought we played well. I think where we let ourselves down is we get into some really good positions and then fail to capitalise on it.
Mm.
For example, we had one in the first half. Jordan and Beattis had a great run to the byline, cut it back, and I don't know
Yeah,
what is it before we scored. Lewis Miller's trying to take it with maybe like the inside of his right foot or something, and just doesn't get any contact on it. And
it looked like he should have his left.
Mhm.
Was my thought. But I mean, it was lovely to play for a beater though.
It was brilliant for a beat, and that should have been a goal though. And I think that's kind of where we're at the moment. There was one in the second half where there was a ball played in sort of between their left back and their left centre half for Boyle, but Quan was also in that space, and the two of them sort of both went for it. We were in behind. Like
Mhm.
if Boyle's there on his own or Quan's there on his own, they pick up the ball and fire it across the goal, and we've got a good chance. But they got in each other's way, and that gave Dundee United enough time to kind of come back and defend that situation. But we'd got in behind them, like we'd done the hard part, and there was so many wee moments like that in the game. So when you look at the number of chances that we had, so how many shots have you got in the stats?
So I went BBC, right? It was 15 shots to 8 and 3 on target versus 2.
Right, well, so that's similar here. So Sofa Score has also got big chances. Big chances, us none. Dundee United two. Obviously, one of them being
Uh, which
being a
reflected in the
penalty.
XG. And I know
Uh huh.
people don't understand or don't like XG or both, but it was 1.1 versus 1.2. But as you said to me when I sent that to you earlier, the penalties are massive HG in it. It's just a 3-shot to goal, effectively. I think it's 0.8 out of 10 are scored, basically.
So I thought we dominated the game. I thought the midfield three were really good. And it's interesting, I had a bit of debate on Hibs.net earlier in the week about the quality of the team in the midfield. And I said, actually, there's much a muchness between our midfield and most of the other teams outside the Rangers and Celtic. And most teams would take our midfield. And Blackpool Hibs, right, long time poster on Hibs.net, and say, how can that be when we're losing every week?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at games like today, so we've not won the day, but our midfield totally dominated Dundee United, as they did at Tannadice as well, as we did against Kelly's midfield when we drew with them, or Dundee's when we played them. It's like the games are getting lost in either box, or won and lost in either box. But I think like today we imposed ourselves on the game as you would expect the home team to do. I was quite happy with how we started. I was worried that we would fall into the habit, which we seem to have got into, being a slow starting team. I think somebody posted a stat like we hadn't scored before 25 minutes in the game. And again, we didn't the day either.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say hi, and I can't remember where I read it, which if it was Twitter or on the message post, but I thought somebody said 40 odd minutes.
Well, it might have been 40 odd minutes. I was trying to remember when our goals had come. Now, I think we've been pretty poor most first halves. Right? Ironically, the opening game of the season against St Mirren, our first half performance was really good. And we were unlucky not to go in let's say unlucky. We weren't good enough to go in ahead at half time, but we were the better team. Obviously, the second half was a different story. But it's been one of the frustrations I've had is that when we've had an important game, which they become more important each week that we didn't win, you expect the team to come out with a point to prove, like come flying out the traps and almost try to kind of just like get an early goal, get the crowd on side, and then kick on. I thought, although we didn't get the early goal, it was just before the half-hour mark. I thought we did take the initiative in the game. Like we were really, really comfortable. Dundee United did 2 shots, both from outside the box. One was almost like a pass back to the keeper. Another one was, I think it was Middleton volleyed one just past the post.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have gone in. Keeper's got well covered, so even if it's on target, it's a comfortable save. Other than that, Dundee United didn't really offer very much. Hibs were like, without creating loads, we were well on top and we were getting into good positions. But again, it's this final ball, either a poor cross or shots are going fucking. It's like there's a force field around the goal. Can we hit the ball? It goes fucking way up this way or way over that way, but anywhere but the goal.
Mm-hmm. It was a cracking ball for the goal, though. I don't know if I'm bouncing you out of order here, but the ball from Obita, and Miller's run's great, and he went to win that. Like he showed determination to go and win that, like but he met it perfectly. It was a really good ball, really good header.
Aye, it was a cracking goal, well, and unexpected as well because I didn't really know what Miller was doing where he was, but I'm glad he was there. I mean, it was a good run. He timed his header really well. Keeper's got no chance with it. Like you said, the cross was terrific. And at that point, I was like, we knew we needed another goal, though. Like anybody around about us that was talking about, we always said we need another one. Like one goal wasn't going to be enough to win it.
And why is that? Is that what was I thinking there? Is that like because it clearly wasn't the runny play or anything? It's just the nervousness in the fan base around they were going to let goals in. We'll let at least one in, though. We kind of know we're going to let one in. Is that the thinking, do you think?
I think not just the nervousness for the fan base, but I think the fact that, well, how many games has it been this season so far where we've conceded like 10, 11 games, something like that? So you almost know it's coming. Like you need to almost have that blanket, an extra goal, cushion, no blanket. I get my bedding mixed up. I have the cushion at like a 2-goal lead and then not have any nervousness in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. But I don't know, like I think it's mentality. Like the days when I couldn't put it in mentality, it comes with the penalty decision, which we'll talk about in a second. But even then, we go to the 10 men, we concede for the penalty, but we're the team on the front foot after that as well. Like Dundee United were hanging on for a point, so it can't just be like the team only playing for the manager or they're all cowards or they've not got the bottle for it or the fight. There was loads of that today. They put in a shift. They all played for the jersey. With 10 men, they were still the ones forcing the issue. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is it mentality that Myko's grabbed the hood of the boy's shirt? Is it just like
I know. I don't know why he's doing that. Like, to be honest, now, have you watched Sports Scene yet?
No,
No, I know you've been rushing about since you got back. So it was Marvin and Neil McCann, who I actually think I like them both, right? And I know that's a controversial thing to say about Neil McCann, but I actually think he's a good pundit. They were saying, and so McCann didn't think it was a penalty. Marvin's kind of arguing that is because he thought he held his jersey too long. And I was like, as it was like a new rule. But I'm looking at it and thinking, and it was one of them said, I think it's, or both were talking about it, saying it's a zonal marking thing. He should just leave it. Horror's got it covered behind. He doesn't need to grab it. He doesn't try to be clever and grab the boy's jersey. And you can, when you see it back, you'll probably go, why is he grabbing his jersey? What advantage is he getting out of it anyway? Other than being touch tight, which if he hadn't been touch tight, people would have been saying he's not got touch tight. How'd you get touch tight if you touch somebody? I don't know, but it's soft as fuck.
It's really soft. I mean, there's actually a Dundee United fan tweeted us to say, fucking Hibs were hard done by. Like that's them saying.
Aye, and do you know it's now. I think I've got the answer here as well, but the question wasn't even going at the boy, right? So apparently the rule was, I think David Graves maybe mentioned that post match that you've got to be affecting the ball or be able to affect the ball.
Aye.
But what Big Marv said was he might have been able to if the ball had come back across, and that stopped him. And I don't know if that's the rule or not. Like, you know, but
it has to come back across though for that to be effective, because otherwise. Yeah. Anybody could affect the play if the ball
that's right. It's back
was to bounce to them later. Aye, I mean, it's not how far back do you take it? Yeah. I tell you what, we'll go to the. I'll go to the talking points. I'll bring them up on the screen because Kieran Gallagher has sent us in a still their penalty incident. And just while I'm getting this up, what
was your thoughts overall? Did you think we deserve to win? That's your summary. We deserve to win. We've been done. Done by not taking our chances and letting them, and then giving being on the end of a soft penalty. Let's say at the end.
I think even if the referee's consistent, because Bahora is pulled just after it in their box, and it goes to VAR again, and this time they think we're not going to send the referee to the screen. So it's really like it's the referee's fault. What he's done is whoever's sitting in the VAR room's looked at one of them and gone, and it took fucking ages with it as well. By the way, this isn't like a. Kind of like when they tried to find the foul on who was it that shot when Joe Neal slid in against Celtic field goal. Yeah. And then they're like, fucking hell, we better take 20 minutes to find a foul here because Celtic might not win this game. And they took ages, and then our penalty review's got like a kind of quick 20 seconds. Same story here. This VAR check took fucking ages before they brought the referee over to the screen. And then he had a look at it and went, penalty. Other one, the goalie's about to kick off again. The referee's giving him a wee signal saying, hut on the now, points to his ear, wait the now, points to the ear. Nah, carry on.
Aye.
And it's like, right.
Football's so backward. Aye. Like, and I know that, like, I'm a football fan, but I like other sports, and I know that when I try and challenge football being so backward, that I get, but that's how it is. That's how football is. That's how it works. It'll never change. Like my point, my opinion about the managers shouting on the touchline, and they could be taking their cell out of the noise and just go away and look and make fact-based decisions without having folk in their ear that can fuck all about it, because that's why they're there and he's there, and have a better view. That's one of them. But the other one is VAR. Every country in the stadium's like that. And I've just swore again, I apologise that guy again. But everybody's going, what the fuck's going on? And they didn't even show the replays in the screen. We're not allowed to show the replays in the screen or whatever. I watched the rugby last night, the England game in the afternoon, England-New Zealand. And when the referee's got a decision to make, it's on the screen. And not only that now, when he's telling the captains what the decision is, he's got a yellow card somebody or give a penalty or why, goes in the tannoy. Everybody in the stadium hears the referee telling the captain why. So everybody knows. So, but we're all going, fuck, was that even for? He said, off now. Can you do a yellow card for that? That's like, fucking hell. Like, what's the, it's just mental. Like, everybody's relying on the mate that's not at the game. watching on a dodgy fucking stream to tell them
True.
why it was a penalty.
Aye, that's exactly the case. We had no idea. So I think from memory, and I have seen the incident back on Twitter, but obviously kind of looking at it on a wee mobile phone screen, it's not the best. But if I remember, the ball comes in, Dundee United, it's kind of have a bit of a scramble. The keeper pushes it wide, and then the ball kind of gets knocked out again, and then the referee calls it back. I totally lost my.
You've got to show that photo, I presume.
Aye, I was, but fuck knows what I was going to say. We're watching it back and how it came out. Oh, we never had a clue. So when they went VAR penalty, we're all going, what? Like, well, first I'm going, was it maybe like a handball or? I couldn't even think where the foul might have been. I thought maybe when they scrambled for the ball, when the keeper's pushed around the post, if somebody's been pushed over there. Or, nobody had the faintest idea of what they were looking for. And then when the referee comes back over, sends Myko off, and we've got like, oh, as I sat going, fuck was that for? It's just,
I know,
it's
but
just
you know
mental.
what? We know it, right? We can message the boys, the referees podcast tomorrow, which I'm just slagging off because I do actually quite enjoy it. But they'll just back the referee. The only time I've seen them not, obviously, they've stuck with that one at Rangers about the denying goal score opportunity, because they're saying there was one last week. They're saying no, that should either that's apply the new rule to it, which means the goalie could save it, so it's not a red card, or send them off sort of thing. But these jersey pool ones are. It's incredible. What we're talking about 10 minutes, maybe just less than 10 minutes between them.
Aye.
And you think, how can the VAR do that? But Willie Collum will come out and say he'll just make up a reason why it was right.
Aye.
And then we all just have to swallow it. And well, we have to swallow it anyway because it didn't change nothing. But it's just frustrating. Like they treat football fans like they're fucking like stupid. Like just tell us. Like you can't make that up. Like you've got two almost identical decisions.
Aye. It's frustrating, and I tell you what becomes more frustrating. This is you'll see on the screen here. Right? Kieran Gallagher. I'll see if I can make this photo a bit bigger. Right, the left hand circle there is the player that gets fouled by Myko. He eventually goes down. That's what the penalty was given for. On the right hand side, you see the Dundee United player pulling Chantis' jersey. This is where the ball ends up.
Aye.
So they've looked at that and gone, right, the relevant foul in this scenario is Myko and the Dundee United player at the near post who watched the ball sail over his head. The Dundee United player pulling Chantis is irrelevant. Get the penalty. It's fucking nonsense.
It's a great point. Did Chantis stay on his feet?
I think he tried to win the header. Yeah,
that's his mistake. You need to fall down to get a free kick.
Aye.
That's the rules of football.
It's mental though. And that it sort of makes you think like what are VAR looking at? Like they're looking specifically to try and find a penalty there, and they're ignoring the stuff that's
the like, rules.
Aye, like how you looking at it and go, right? Well, we can't get involved for a foul on a defender, but we might as well get involved for something. Get a penalty rather than looking at that whole thing and going, "Come on, there is a foul there, but when we bring the referee over to look at it, we better tell him." Right, make your mind up. It has ended up where Chantis says, and he's been getting his shirt pulled by the Dundee United player. So maybe just play on. And then
you could have easy just waved the play on there onto the VAR based on that. They didn't need to send the ref over because once you send the referee over, I don't know, 99 times out of 100, I think it's getting overturned or the decision's getting made against you, or But I mean, it's just incredible when you look at it. You just think. The two fouls, like you say, that's where the balls go and the one at the back. And normally, they err on the side in the 90th minute, definitely, on the defensive team.
Aye. That's it. We get the benefit of the doubt with it. But actually, Kieran who's shared that photos, commented on YouTube as well, says, as John said a few weeks ago, more and more hallmarks of a relegation season, we should be putting these games to bed and going after them. Sat in, kicked and hoped most of the second half. Very worrying. Right, so MOR said if you told a Hibs fan who did not watch the game that it was 1-1, they could tell you exactly what happened. Same movie yet again. 3 points out of 9 against the worst Jambo team in ages, a bad team from Dingwall and a brutal Dundee team. Another point coming up on Saturday. We we've been talking about this for a wee while about Hibs' ability to no win these must-win games. And today was another example of that, where the pressure's on us mounting every week. We knew we needed a win today. We almost did, but didn't quite get it over the line. But irrespective of how well or otherwise we played today, it's 2 points dropped. Like, the facts are, it's another game that we've not won. We're now looking at next weekend against St Mirren and going, really need to get 3 points there. But it's it's not a gimme against St Mirren, and the more that we didn't win, the more chance we're going to get pulled into this. Like you said, like, folks shouldn't be thinking about relegation battles and all the rest of it, but these are the sort of results that are going to keep us down there and pull us into that sort of battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's right. Like, the longer this sort of us not taking our chances and the wee bits of luck not going your way as well. On top of that, and I say luck, I mean, or refereeing calls. The one that John's probably spot on when he said that 2 weeks ago, about it's the hallmark of relegation team. It is, but it's dead early. You know what I mean? It's dead early, and I just think you can't be that unlucky all season. This is the hallmark of relegation team towards the end of a season when they're getting dragged into it and they can't get out of it and they can't get out of the bit. We just need one more win. We just need a point. This is 10, 11 games in. This can't go on for 36 games, 38 games. It's my thought process.
Aye. And I tend to agree with you, Colin. I think early in the season is, like, if you're going to have a bad run, now's the time to do it. But it's another one of these ones where you look at it. I think somebody said if we'd won it, we'd only have been like 3 points off the top six or 4 points off the top six or something like this. You know, I said we're in touching distance of it, but we've no won it. We would have moved up to ninth, but we never won it, so we're still bottom. And that's what our problem is now. Is like, all right, we could have done this, or if we do this, we'll be all right. But we keep doing it.
Absolutely, and then there was a chance. I mean, the goalie made an arse of it, and this is where our goalies make an arse of it, right? Our goalie, we're getting punished. Their goalie makes an arse of it. We didn't hit the shot on target. Their boy put it in under the crossbar again. Same game 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not taking our aim. You know, if you want to control the controllables and all that, we're not taking our chances. We score there. The referee could do what he wants with that for a penalty.
Spot on. Mark McWilliams said we have absolutely zero quality, with no flair. Never look like putting any teams away. The players are all honest, hard-working guys. They're just not very good. We need a change before it's too late. I think it's a tough one, right? So I thought we were good enough today. Like, and I kind of mentioned it earlier on about the discussion we have about whether or not the players in our team would get into other teams that are around about us. Now, I think if you're Jim Goodwin and we offered you, you could take 5 players out of the Hibs team today to take for Dundee United the rest of the season, he'd take 5 players. He wouldn't go, nah, you're all right, I'll keep what I've got. Right? I don't think for a second, if he's watched the game, he said at half time. So he said at full time that the first half was all Hibs. He talked up his team in the second half, which I thought he was maybe a wee bit disingenuous with, to try and justify them getting the point. But I think we've got players who are better than the position we're in, but it does get harder to sort of make a case for that the longer that we stayed in there.
Struggling to score goals, like that's it. We've got one fit striker who's now suspended. Our sort of supporting strikers, whatever you want to call Boyle, Yuan, Hoylett, those ones, they're not really scoring. Well, they're not scoring any goals, are they? I mean, Hoylett's got one, I remember, but they're not chipping in. So we're just not taking our chances. We're not scoring. The midfielders aren't scoring, so we're relying on our defenders to get up and win headers, to get us goals. So we need to score more goals so that we're taking the unlucky moments out of being crucial.
And as a problem, there was a point in two moments in the second half that stood out for me, were an example of why we're not scoring enough goals. One was with a free kick that Joe Newell clipped forward towards Myko. Right, Myko had come near side to the West Stand touchline, and he lost the header. So he clipped up to him, he lost the header. And I said to my old man, it's like, and to Josh said, what's the best case scenario there? If Myko wins that header, there's nobody beside him. So what's the play there? Like, are we hoping for a throw in, or I couldn't see what the point in that free kick was, just to clip it forward to somebody who's not going to win the ball anyway. But if they did, they can't do anything with it because of the way the ball's played with them. And then another moment where Abita and Hoyle had worked a good move down the left, and they were in a great crossing position. We didn't have anybody in the box. Myko was on the edge of the box, but at best we would have had one player. Like, if you take a couple of strides forward, we've got one player to aim for in the box. Nobody else there. There's nobody coming in at the back post at that point. No midfield runners coming up to get beyond Myko. That's it. So you swing a cross in, it doesn't matter how good the cross is, they're going to defend it because we've got nobody to get on the end of it. And that's a problem. Like, we need bodies in the box to be scoring goals, and we just didn't seem to get them in enough numbers. Even the goal that we scored, I think it's only Miller that's in the box in a Hibs shirt to win the header. Anyway, David said, should we accept relegation and not spend a penny in January? New squad and new coaching team to build next year.
No, I don't think we need to spend any more. I don't think we need to spend massive amounts of money in January to not get relegated either. Like, I genuinely don't. We could do with like a Melida, who obviously got us out of hole last season, or somebody of that ilk. Somebody that comes in and gets us 10 goals, or whatever it was. He was in double figures, whether it was goals and assists or goals, I can't remember. But we need somebody like that desperately, because otherwise we would have been. I don't think there's much doubt. He got us last year. He kept us. That we failed in the league, but we didn't fall as fast as we might have if he hadn't been there. And that's what we're missing at the moment.
Hib on YouTube said, here's another scary thought. That shite United team today are 4th in the league. And he says, we can't get pulled into a battle when we're already bottom of the league, Matty. We are already the battle. Yeah, fair point. I was meaning kind of longer term for the rest of the season, but I get that.
That's what we always talk about other teams. Like, other teams are shite, but they're 4th, we're 12th.
Aye. But I suppose that backs up my point, saying that there's no huge difference in quality. It's not like we're miles off it, but we can't keep no winning games. Or we can keep doing it, but no, if we want to be in a relegation battle when it counts. Scott Mick said 11 points dropped for late capitulations. We should have 19 points and be joint 3rd. Makes it so much harder supporting this team when they're so badly underperforming and throwing games and points away. And then says, sorry, there's just a kind of clip there. As a result, they've lost 11 points from winning positions, also more than any other team. It speaks of either a fitness issue or a mental fragility that has seemingly plagued this Hibs squad for a couple of years, despite personnel changes. Is it a fitness issue, Colin, do you think? Oh, I've just lost Colin there, so I don't know what he's going to say to answer that. I'm sure he'll be dialing back in a second. It's typical. We didn't normally do these live on YouTube when we're doing the Sunday night ones before we would do it tonight. And I've lost Colin. Here he is. He's coming back in now. Hiya, Colin. Lost you there for a second.
You'd have been shouting yourself that you were going to have to carry on in your toilet.
I was just I was padding there, just saying, like, typical is the thing that we decided to do it live, eh?
I'm doing it on the iPad. Just behind the scenes, just behind for the editor's cut here. I'm on the iPad, and my daughter, somebody in our Snapchat group chat decided to phone, and I declined it. And when I declined it, it kicked me out of the Zoom here.
Fantastic. So late goals, is it a fitness issue? Was the question I was asking you? Do you think it's fitness or is it mentality?
I doubt that. I don't know. I think today, was either whether the way you look at it, either silly for Myko grabbing the boy's shirt, 1, but 2, getting a dodgy decision, giving a penalty away at Kilmarnock in the last minute. Is that mentality or a silly mistake? Like, does this silly mistake count as mentality? I don't know. The O'Hara one, switching off against Dundee, letting Murray sit inside him. Is that, like, what do we mean by mentality or mental fragility there? Is that not just like concentration? Is that mentality? Concentration mentality?
Or is it mental fragility? That case we came what's coming. When we talked about it, it was definitely
it's fans that came what's coming. It's fans that know that mental fragility about it's coming. We came what happens next and blah blah blah. But I don't know how much impact that has on the team when the fans go quiet and the fans start murmuring about, oh, they'll fucking score. We've only one goal lead. We need another one. We need another one. And I don't think that that shouldn't impact on the team. But I don't know if it is. But it isn't always, because Kilmarnock away, there's not enough of them there for that to be to make a mistake. We're making daft mistakes late in the game. We're fucking. I suppose you could say it's under mental fragility, but I don't know what it means.
You know, or does that come through fitness? Is it because they're tired that it becomes harder to make good decisions?
Start of the season, they'll be fit. They'll have done all the tests. I'm sure their tests will match up to anybody at Kilmarnock, Dundee United to say how far they can run or how fucking quick they are on their walk bike or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm no. It's more about concentration and you could lack concentration because you're tired, but I'm not having that. I'm not having it that Hibs haven't got them fit enough.
Kim, it's mental, right? And this is where, like, the referee decisions make a difference with how teams are perceived, right? So, had the referee given Hibs a penalty that we thought he should have done, how many folk are going back to Dundee? You know, Dundee United's mentality is no great. They're looking at they only needed to hang on for another 30 seconds or another couple of minutes, and they've got a point in that game. But the boys grabbed the horror around the neck and pulled them, giving away the penalty, and then they've had a point and then lost it. And then they talk about Hibs having the strong mentality, like being down to 10 men. They've come back, like they've had that setback late on, kept pushing forward, got a penalty, scored it. Right, because assume we scored it. That narrative totally changes, and it comes into whether or not the referee gives that penalty. The Hibs have done pretty much the same thing, regardless of whether they got the penalty or no. They've worked that position, but it changes the narrative, and definitely didn't look like a fitness issue today anyway. Because even 10 men, as I said earlier, I thought we were the ones that were pushing for the win. Graham Whiteman said, why is the club accepting these decisions? No kickback or complaint, all cosy handshakes with the cheating officials. Well, I think David Gray didn't accept. I think he went and had a big word with the official at the end of the game, and he's called it out on Sky. Joe Leslie, who's commented on YouTube, said VAR check took ages because all at VAR were watching the Huns game. He's also posted on Hibs page on Facebook with I think a complaint he's sending to the SFA about it, just to sort of say, okay, why are these decisions going against Hibs all the time? And you can check it. It was quite a good post that he's put on there if anybody's interested in that.
It does come into I mean, that was the thing last week when I tweeted the boys, the referees, and I know that it's not the SFA, but the referees podcast behind the whistles or what it's called. You're always wary that you start saying, well, why did the book treat us in the first 3 minutes? So you just got to get the paranoia thing thrown back at you.
Aye.
You know what I mean? And it's like, because we've not had that many bad decisions against us, really, have we?
Nah, not too many. Not too many. Did today, though.
I think so, yeah. I think if you give one, you give both. More likely, you need them. Because like we'll go now, we'll be shouting for every fucking jersey pull all season then. We're lucky if we get one penalty back.
Well, mind it happened. St Mirren got a 2-2 they got against us last season, and they got a penalty late on. Like we'd be totally comfortable in the game. And it was a ridiculous one again. It was fucking away for everything. There was Hibs players fouled before the ball got to across the box and everything, and we just didn't. I think the only time I can mind us getting one like that was against Celtic, ironically, when Paul Hanlon had his shirt pulled and nobody was really claiming for it, and we got a penalty. Paul Matthews says, right, if that's a penalty for them, then we should definitely have a penalty after that with a foul for O'Hora. Yep. Charlie said, our discipline will relegate us. That's quite a good point. He said, indiscipline is a bit of a problem. So Myko sent off today. We kept 11 on the park against Hearts, but then it was Joe Newell and Nick Terchantis in the 2 games before that. So 3 red cards in 4 games. We're not traditionally like a particularly dirty team for red cards and that.
But we're not dirty. these are fucking stupid fucking bookings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no straight reds here for two-footed challenges, and I folk would like that because they would say that shows a good aggression and mentality. But the actual silly bookings, Myko's first one today, like, it's just lazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the second one, like, fuck, is it even a foul? And then you've got the the first Newell one at Tannadice. Again, like they've run about 2-3 fouls, and then Newell goes in, doesn't even connect with the boy, and the boy, he does block the guy.
Yeah.
But you go, well, you never connected, so is it a foul? Get out. Is it a yellow? Sorry, it is a foul. Daft fucking yellow cards. The Triantis second one against Motherwell, the Newell second one against Dundee United. Diving. Triantis' first against Motherwell. And you go, fucking stupid fucking bookings. But we seem to get booked for every single fucking thing. And I'm swearing again.
Aye. They had a high foot today, by the way. They book him.
I think they're allowed sometimes, yeah.
Aye. Well, but they had that one with, again, if you ever look at the VAR decisions at the SFA post, which, by the way, is brilliant that they do that. With you might not always agree with them, but I like the fact that they go and review them and then they put the results of the review. That's the sort of transparency we've been calling for ages. But they'd said about, it was a Rangers player, I can't remember the boy's name, but he studs up high foot on a Motherwell player, and they said that's fine, just no red card, even after looking at it again, which I thought was fucking mental. I thought it was a red card all day long, but there you go. Again, another rule that they just kind of decide now and again what they want to do with it.
But to answer, I agree, but to answer with Chandler, there was a discipline. You could hit his discipline because when you get a booking and then you go and do something daft, because they're all aim, it's no. When I first read that, I was thinking, we're not running about like kicking folks. No, I won't say that. Like, we're not running about with 2-footers or punching folk or headbutting folk or like losing the rag. We're doing daft things like Myko grabbing the boy's hands and run past them, or fucking diving for a penalty, or you know what I mean? It's like fucking hell, like. But that's still under discipline. To be fair to Charlie, I was so no. But just my first thought went, these red cards they're not that bad, but they're fucking probably worse, you could argue, because it's fucking stupidity.
Donald Shaw on YouTube said, why is David Gray leaving yellow carded players on the pitch, especially in the last quarter of the second half? And Jason Ladd said, so David Gray's game management is a work in progress. And I think that's come up as well, isn't it? About kind of when we have the players on the booking, is keeping them on the pitch. And I have sympathy for the manager. I don't think it should automatically be the case that you get a booking, you have to be substituted. I think the players have a responsibility to go, I'm on a booking, let's not do something stupid like grab a head of a boy in the box and give them a reason to give him a second yellow.
The reason with Trent should have got something 5 minutes last weekend.
Well, it's a good case in point. And you just can't do that. Like, it's no realistic. I think the players need to take that responsibility. Here's an interesting one, right? GG Greenest Goblinus asked, are we missing Dylan Vente?
We're missing a striker because we've only got one.
Aye.
I don't know what Vente would be like in this side because we're playing different. We're playing a different style of football, aren't we? We're not just knocking it about for the sake of knocking it about. We're getting balls in the box. We're trying to. Is that more Vente's game?
Nah, I don't think so. I think I think Vente would work better with a 2. Like, I don't think we're getting the best out of Myko either, to be honest with you. Like, the amount of times, like I said, like he was outside the box trying to link play, but if he's there, who's in the box to receive the ball once it's gone wide? And that's where our issue is at the moment. So maybe if Vente's there, and when we've got the sort of injury crisis that we've got at the moment with the strikers, you would have an option to play 2 up top. But I didn't really see enough for Vente last season to think that he would have been the answer this season, if I'm honest. Like, as good a player as he could be, I thought he was pretty ineffective, and I wasn't really that disappointed that he went elsewhere.
I think it's Bibby we're missing, boy.
Aye, definitely for the way that he plays and the impact that he had in the short, the small sample size that we have him. I would definitely see he's the player that's going to make a difference. David Reed said, well, it's Groundhog Day again. Definitely feels like that. On a similar note, aka Rab says, how do you guys do it? How do you manage to find new ways to talk about the same foot shooting pish that is Hibs every week? Fucking kudos to you guys, because I ran out of anything to say ages ago. Thanks, Rab.
I have for Rab for ages, actually.
I know.
Welcome back, Rab.
Good to hear from you. I think we have heard from him, but I think because we normally have loads of comments, like obviously we can't get into everybody. Jake Gapper said, Doug shit serves us right for not adding to that one goal. We fall apart every week trying to hold on to slender leads when we obviously don't have the mentality to do that. Need to start focusing on what we've been historically better at, i.e. attacking rather than defending. And that's all I have to say about that. But it did also then go on to say, is Easter Road built on top of an ancient Native American burial ground? Which is funny because we bumped into Martin, who you might remember from the phone-in way back when Montgomery was there for Team Martin. Who suggested that people were maybe kind of impacting the games with voodoo dolls, such as the bad luck that we're having at the moment. And it definitely feels like that. I can't really depiction that. Kind of like you get folk in that bury rival tops under the ground and things like that. I think if somebody's done something like this and we just need to fucking exercise the whole fucking stadium. I'm willing to get a try. Like, I didn't believe in any of that stuff. Like,
take the heart back down.
Aye.
Maybe it's that fucking heart plays a little more.
Aye, dig the pitch up, check the man underneath it, take the heart down for a wee bit. Whatever it is.
See that though, on the mentality point that Jake makes there, right? Was that mentality that cost us that penalty today, or was it a referee's decision?
It's the referee's decisions. Like, and it is, and again, he's talking about there about attacking. Like, we did attack. Dundee United, like, you're never going to attack for 90 minutes in a game. Like, even like Celtic scudded Aberdeen 6-0. Aberdeen had attacks in that game.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Like, you're not going to have a game where the opposition doesn't have a spell where they're coming back in it. Particularly if a team's 1-0 down, they chuck the kitchen sink at it to try and get back in it. But Hibs were pretty comfortable. We were defending that fine, I thought. And we were still posing a threat at the other end, albeit the sort of threat up to the point where it came to taking a shot or putting a cross in. But we were in enough to kind of give Dundee United some concern. So I don't think we went, fucking let's not bother attacking and try and just see this game out 1-0. I think we wanted a second goal. Just the referee came in and
the subs were positive, weren't they? I mean, back to one of the previous points about his game management, and a lot of criticism David Gray's had has been bringing on defenders and sitting in. Well, it was Boyle, it was Yuan came on, it was Molotnikov that came on. You know, so it was the other, and that never worked. Maybe it's midfielders next we bring on then.
Gillian said, apparently, according to the radio, it's 7 times Hibs have conceded a goal so late in the game. You would think they'd have learned their lesson by now. I think the radio folk ever learn a lesson, to be fair. It's been shite for ages.
I know.
Better when they had us on.
I was going to say it's Pat Bonner and Willie Miller just talking shit about the 1980s, you know?
I think it's more than said. Well, somebody said further down it was like 11 times or something that's happened, or 10 times in 11 games.
Is it really?
It must be a sickener for David Gray, because they have to talk about it. Like in training, they must be going, right, lads, get to the end of the game. Didn't do anything fucking stupid, right?
And they're probably thinking they're getting tight here and defending that box, and they get a fucking penalty against them. So actually, they're switched on and they're going, "You're not fucking scoring. You're not scoring." And then the referee goes, "Well, you've got to defend that, so I'm just going to get a penalty this time."
Find something. Stephen said, we've conceded late goals all season and deserved the flack. That was an absolute nonsense. I still can't see what they're paying us for or why Myko went off. If it's a shirt pull, then they booked the wrong player and sent him off. Ours is a stone waller going by that. It's shocking. Robson Summers said, fuck VAR. The wee lad that sits next to me, I've mentioned before, he quite frequently sings fuck VAR, and he sang it pretty much the whole duration of the time that VAR was broken today as well.
See, the thing is, right, VAR should make the game better, and but we really find ways to fuck it up. We do. Scottish and football, like, it's just loads of other sports use TV, and there'll be the odd mistake. There is not the amount of debate and challenges you do in football and any other sport. You watch it on the screen, you kind of, before you know what the referees gave decision wise, you kind of know what they're going to decide because you hear the conversation or whatever, and you know what's happening. In football, even if you heard all that, you would still be arguing because the rules seem so. There's no consistency to the rules. Never mind, and that's how referees get said there's no consistency because the rules are so fucking grey that the referee can change their mind within. Well, I say the referee. This was the VAR guy
exactly.
Less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's where the frustration comes in because you're still. And there's no getting away from it unless you automate it all through AI, which you like. I don't think anybody wants. You're always going to have a degree of subjectivity to it. But I think the problem I have with it is how long they're taking to get to the decision for that first one, and then how quickly they come to the decision on the second one. Surely they deserve the same level of scrutiny, and also the send the referee to the monitor for one but not for the other. That's inconsistent. That's where folk go, well, why fuck VAR? Because you're not getting a fair crack at the whip.
Yeah. No, I understand why folks say it. Don't get me wrong. I just think it should be an enhancement to the game. It should make it better, should make it more consistent. It should be clearer for us. We should be educated better on the rules and all that and understand why decisions are getting made. But it doesn't work like that because that's not how they run it.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, had we got a penalty right at the end after the first check, that you probably you feel like it's done its job. Like they found the foul, they've given the penalty. Fair enough, we've won the game.
Who would have taken it?
Aye,
who would have taken the penalty?
Yeah, it just feels like it's fucking shite. Dave Thompson says, "Why is Boyle getting so much game time? Is it just lack of alternatives, or what do you think?"
Oh, you answer. Direct alternative. I don't know to answer Dave's question because I would have picked you out in the day. My question there, I don't think you picked me up, is if we'd got the penalty, who would have taken it?
Oh, good question.
Boyle wasn't on the pitch, was he?
No, who is still on the pitch?
Kukrevich was still off.
Yuan might have taken it. He was on.
Yeah. Aye.
I can't mind if Yuan's taken a penalty. He's got quite a good dig on him.
I remember him scoring. I can't remember him taking one. And then you're moving into midfielders then, aren't you?
Aye, Nicky Adam is on. He quite likes the shot.
Right, I wouldn't have fancied Newell taking one.
Nah. Martin Boyle had a free kick in the first half that was a fucking shocker as well. Like, I mean, just we didn't help ourselves. Like the quality is severely lacking at sort of key moments. Was Idle Mild said, just stay within touching distance until January, and then go cap in hand to the Black Knights. Now, I'm told, I can't remember where I saw it, that there was representation from Black Knight the other day. So hopefully they've looked at that and gone, fucking hell, you boys need help.
Yeah.
And they get the checkbook out or fucking send some players up or something. Axel F said only 3 shots on target against an extremely poor United at home in a game we really needed to win is just not acceptable. Regardless of the penalty, we are so poor and lacking creativity at the top end of the pitch. Do you know what? I tend to agree with that, other than I think it wasn't the creativity that was the problem, it's the quality when we get there. Like, we create good into good positions and then fuck it up. Okay, what do you think? Is that fair, or do you think it's closer to the fact that we're just not creative enough?
No, that's probably a reason why. I mean, you would argue, well, is it creative if you're fucking it up? We're getting forward. We've got good possession and all that, but we're not doing enough with it. 3 shots on target, like Axel says, is not exactly great, is it?
No, pretty piss poor. And go back to like those sofa score stats. It said about 0 big chances, which isn't very good either.
What's a big chance? Do you know? Is that to do with XG then over a certain amount?
Aye, it will be. It'll be when they've got open all mics and they go chance like that.
I fucking hate that.
Aye,
open all mics, man. Did I tell you I was listening to that the other week? It was a game I wasn't at. What game was it? I was driving down to HTC and I was listening to. It was Dundee United. It was against Dundee United up there, and they go to a pundit, right? I can't think who was it. The Hibs game. It doesn't really matter. They were talking to somebody, and he would start talking about Hibs, and then you get that chance, whoa, all that stuff, and then they're in the middle of a point. And so whoever it is that Kenny McIntyre goes away to that. Oh, I had a shot for halfway, and it's just nipped out for a throw in over on the far side, and then they're never coming back to finish that
Aye, yeah,
point
it's gone.
that he was making.
Yeah.
That's it, done. It's fucked because he wanted the airtime and he's just bawled and shouted in the background about fuck all. And then they never come back to the fucking actual chat that they're having. It's fucking annoying.
Aye. That only happened because the Soccer Saturday.
Aye.
Like they went, how do we translate this to the radio?
But they seem to think folk love it. I've not seen anybody being positive about it. Kevin talking in that when you
I don't mind it. I'll be honest. Like, if I'm out in the car, if I'm not at a game, I quite like having it on.
I was,
but maybe that's just because there's no alternative.
It's guess the pundit the way because you're
Aye.
like, is it Rory Light? We're getting it. It's Rory Light, right? And then you hear a voice and go, that's us. That's Hibs game. That's Hibs game. Hurry up,
Aye.
Rory.
Aye. Who's it for? Tell us. It's a goal. It's a goal. It's a goal. Easter Road. Like fucking. Who's scored, you bastards?
Fucking
right, off on a tangent there. Right, sorry about that. Christopher Black said, "What was the pen for? Why was VAR not giving it for O'Hara being dragged over?" I covered that. Good performance, but we need to start killing teams as we can't keep saying the same things. Real concern for next week now is we have a half-fit Gale as our only recognised forward. Now, somebody also asked on YouTube, let me just find the comment, they asked who was going to be forward for the St Mirren game next week as well.
It'll be boiling. It'll be boiling, yeah, I would imagine.
Aye. I suspect that's what they'll do. It was Jason Ladd asked who plays up top versus St Mirren. I think Boyle or Ewan are your obvious choices for it. Unless, I mean, you're not going to chuck McCurdy in, are you?
No.
Can you imagine the grief David Gray would get if that was the answer? I mean, I'm sure, I speak for everybody, we'd all love to see McCurdy do well. But
I know the pressure is
aye.
No, the pressure he's being put under to start doing that.
Imagine that was the opportunity he was waiting for, the way. Like, he just pick me, Gaffer. I'll just give me the shirt. I'll wait for start me bangs in a hat trick and that. And everybody goes, where the fuck's this boy been all season? And that's it. Whenever we look back, we climb the table and it's not Harry McCurdy's fault, or no fault, but to the credit. Right, Richard said, I don't think we get out of this slump without major changes on and off the pitch. We can blame VAR, of course, but we're far too casual before the penalty. No urgency in our play throughout. Ray Forsyth said we're getting relegated. William Turner said Myko was fucked and should have been subbed. Whiskey Craig says, "Oh, beat a man of the match. Defence looks solid. Not much for Bursick to do. Just no bite up front. Miller took his goal very well. We was robbed." I thought Miller went off injured, and I thought we looked a lot weaker after he went off. And I know Miller has his critics, and he's had some stinkers this season, but I thought he had a good game today, deserved his goal, and I thought we lost something after he went off. Do you think there's still hope for Lewis Miller, Colin?
I think I'll have to stick with him now. I mean, Cadden's obviously struggling. He's played reasonably well the last couple of games. So maybe he can turn it around. Maybe he just had a bad patch. And obviously we're all hunting for somebody to blame for something at the moment, not for the results. But like we're pointing the finger at all places. So if you're having a bad game, you're right in the firing line. And he had 2 or 3 bad games. So.
Part Fry's image said left side is strong and produces chances. Right side fades badly, particularly today as Boyle is years past the wing back role. Not enough on the bench to really influence games, and the lack of depth is evident when injuries come along. Thought so much worked, but we need wins. Funny, we was talking about the left and the right side. I think it was Liam from Down the Slope put a tweet out which was brilliant. His left hand side looks like 1970s Brazil. Right hand side looks like 1980s Blue Brazil. A really clever tweet. Good one. I think that last sentence for Pat Fry's image there, right? That thought so much work, but we need wins. That's exactly where we're now. Like, just the performances I think are there. It's the results that are not, and it's a fucking difficult situation to get out. I don't know what the answer is really. Score more goals would be the obvious one, but I think it's quite as easy as that, is it?
No.
Robert Cherry said David Gray is a Hibs legend, so was Frank Soze. Doesn't always work. And Neil Renton said it's not that we should be getting rid of David Gray that matters. It's the fact he shouldn't have got the job in the first place. Far too many failed experiments at Easter Road. Bizarrely, I think he stays till the season as long as we're not relegated. So we spoke about David Gray's position before, and I'm absolutely of the opinion that we should be giving the guy time. I think 10 games is too soon. Would there get some chance to say why did we not have that approach with Nick Montgomery? Because I was definitely vocal about wanting to get him sacked, but that wasn't until sort of the final few games of his time with us when he was 10 games in, 11 games in. There was no chat for this podcast about him getting sacked, and I don't think there should be really for David Gray either. But I think there's growing concern about his ability to turn it around, Colin. How long do the board give it before that concern becomes something that they feel they might have to act on?
I don't think. When's the second round of fixtures? Is that the end of the year, or is that? It usually is. It's usually about Christmas
Been a bit then, yeah. Just as we get through to that busy period.
Yeah, I would have thought it would have been after that, or around that time would be. And if this carries on and it's one win out of 22 games or 20 games, that might be they might be struggling to not change it there because of the pressure they'll get. I think they'll have seen other teams sticking with managers that have went through bad spells for longer than 6, 8, 10. It's funny. What I think funny about it is, right, us as a fan base, when we've sacked managers really quickly, we've said this is embarrassing. Who's going to even want to manage us? And yet, after 6, 7 games, we had Hibs fans saying, sack the manager. Which and I don't know if it would have been the same people that would have then made, well, we're a laughing stock. Like, we keep sacking managers. But I think they'll have looked at other clubs. Like, I think Motherwell is one example, isn't it? Kettlewell went through a run worse than this last season. They stuck with them. They're in the cup semi-final and in the top 6 and winning, narrow games 2-1, which is we're just on the wrong side of these at the moment, or not getting the second and ending at 1-1. So I think they might try and stick with them longer. One, purely for that reason. Two, save their own face because they obviously went against the group in doing the appointment.
I think for the point about we become a laughing stock and the folk that say that being the ones that shout for sacking him, I think that's aimed at the people appointing the managers, though, isn't it? Rather than, like, we're a laughing stock because the people who hire the managers aren't hiring the right ones, so then they have to sack them a few games in and the cycle starts again, and that we become a laughing stock not because the fans wanted the manager sacked, but because they had to be sacked because of the performances being shite and then recruiting badly for the next guy. No, I'm not advocating sacking David Gray. Like, again, I'll be absolutely kind of crystal clear that I think we should be standing by the manager and giving him more time than he's had.
I just think where I'm at, and I'm probably repeating some of the stuff I've said, is we are in games, we are in tight games, and we're just not getting over the line, whether it be because of a mistake, a refereeing call, because we've not got the concentration, fitness, mentality, whatever one it is. We're no walking away for games going, fuck me, we're getting hammered every week. It's not like, like under the Butcher time where it was like, you're coming away for getting 3-0 defeats and, losing an early goal because it's good because it takes the pressure off and then going on to get fucking hammered. It's not that kind of game. We're like, it's 1-1, 2 games, 3 games in a row? Or it was 0-0, 3 draws in a row. And it's like, it's back to the Jack Ross FI margins stuff, but it's fractions. It's just like a wee bit of luck. Like, even the goalie saving that penalty day, or us getting the penalty at the other end to go on and win it, or something. You're just waiting on something. I'm just waiting on something like that to turn it, to give them a wee bit of belief that they can, instead of drawing a game, they'll win a game.
I said, see, when the VAR check for the foul on O'Hara or the non-foul on O'Hara, depending how you look at it, I pretty much said that to Josh. I said that's the sort of, if we get this penalty and score it, this is like the sort of decision where the season turns on it, because all of a sudden you've gone, we were doing 10 men, we fucked a late goal again, but we've turned it around and we've won the game. Like, you get that penalty, we score it, you're then going to fucking great. Can't wait for St Mirren to come next week, because you're like, well, let's build on it. We've got 3 points. We played well. well enough. You've got something to carry forward. Now it's like, fucking hell, we've done it again. We've been winning and we've not won the game. And you have that sort of like, oh, it's probably going to happen again next week. It's just like, these are the sort of things where seasons can be made or broken on like almost like a toss of a coin, kind of referee deciding to get a penalty or no.
Yeah.
Neil Renton once. Chris, last couple of weeks, because we're kind of out of time, right? Chris, a really good performance for the lads. We need a creative midfielder to unlock things. Other than that, the SFA are bent as fuck. Neil Renton against them, keeping on with good stuff for the Record Sport hotline page tomorrow, when I'll be living rent free in my own head. I think how Neil does it, whether there's just no other Hibs fans kind of contact them, but it must be the easiest place to get published because Neil's stuff is shite half the time that he sends in there. Like I've read it, Neil. No offense. Like sometimes they're pretty funny, and other times you go fucking hell. But they print it anyway. Like he must have friends in high places at the Record or something. I'm only joking, Neil. Right, SG said, sick of this week after week. There's been no improvement in the last 3 years. Steve McKenna, Steve McKenna, you tell us you weren't following us. You went in a big fucking stop was because we said VAR come up with a good decision. I'm not reading your comment. You either follow us or didn't fucking stop that you're not following us and then send us talking points. Last two, right? But we'll do WTC 1981 says, can we please catch a fucking break? And Vince Robinson said, team showed good character before succumbing to another gut punch. Can't wait for Column's rationale for that excuse of a ref.
Just while you were talking there, I was skimming Twitter, and Andy McBee has already, he says, I'm ahead of you to us. He must be watching on YouTube. He's already tweeted Gordon Duncan, who does the interviews with Colin, asking for him to ask the question. So he's obviously heard us talking about this on YouTube and
good.
Went and fired the tweet away.
Good, right. That's us. We're out of time, Colin. Thanks very much for your time this evening. We'll be back with extra time tomorrow night. So if you're watching on YouTube just now and you're not already a subscriber, and I'm going to talk about subscribers, I don't mean a YouTube subscriber, but you can subscribe there for free. You didn't really get very much for it. You will see a wee thing that says like join here. You can become a YouTube member where you get all the subscription content directly on YouTube, or head over to our Patreon where you can subscribe and you'll get things like extra time and the episodes early and without adverts and all the rest of it as part of the benefit. We will be back with extra time, as I say. We've not picked a topic yet, Colin, but we'll sort that out. So subscribers will get that on Monday evening, and then we'll be back with a phone-in on Thursday. Phone-in's always live on YouTube. The great last week's one was brilliant. Really busy phone-in, great discussion, loads of sort of different points being debated sort of respectfully and constructively, and with some well thought out arguments behind it as well. So we'd love to see more folk come along to them. If you're interested in joining, we post the Zoom details up on Patreon and Hubwave and YouTube at the latest by Thursday afternoon, but normally by Wednesday evening. If you're not on one of them but you're really desperate to come on, just drop us a DM on Twitter and we can sort something out for you. But anyway, watch out for that. We do post them as podcasts as well.